Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be joining you again. Um, Thanks for stopping by for a minute. Last weekend was kind of difficult, ending up in the hospital last Friday, and um, that whole experience and going through the weekend. And if you've seen my previous couple of videos, uh, or the most recent videos I've done anyway, I've talked about how the air quality has been extremely um, difficult. It's been changing. And I don't know that everybody notices that, but I know that more people with um, more people with breathing difficulties may have noticed it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you, but looks like I have an important message coming into that may be relevant to share with y'all right now. Um, but the air quality's been bad. And like I said, they threw out that quick little message um, on the news about a week ago, a little over a week ago, saying that there was arsenic in the area that I live in. They specifically mentioned my area where I live. So I was like, okay. I knew there were issues with it being in the soil because University of Minnesota had come out, tested the soil, and said, don't grow anything in the soil around where you live. If you do, make it pretty stuff. Don't make it anything that you can eat. So, which is why I do the hydroponic gardening and my indoor farming, which I'll be ramping up on those videos and doing more videos and tutorials about that and on dehydrating food coming up again very soon. If you're anxious and wanting to see some stuff right now, you can go back through my playlist. I'm not that great of a YouTuber, so I haven't figured out how to section everything off. And I've been on here, it's going on 4 years now, I believe. I believe it's going on 4 years. Um, since that first video, that was just kind of like, I'm just going to do this and get off this channel. And then ended up finding that there was a lot of value and being able to connect with people this way. But anyway, the air quality sucks. Not everyone will recognize it. It's kind of like having a canary and putting a canary into the cave. That canary is going to be able to tell when the oxygen levels are not quite how they should be. And you're going to be able to tell by what's happening to that canary before the other folks. So think of me kind of like that canary being sent into that mine or cave or whatever. So went through that whole process with the hospital, which was interesting. Food was great. Sometimes it didn't look so great, but the flavor was really good. I had lots of options. Um, and hospitals being what they are, you can pull that call light and you might be waiting 10 minutes before someone will come and turn it off so that you can go to the bathroom. It happens. And was it that I'm not capable of taking myself to the bathroom? No. But because of how I came into the hospital and the nature of everything that was going on, I was considered a fall risk. So they put you in a room where as soon as you take 1 foot out of the bed, an alarm is going off. Um, and it's saying, get back in the bed. Don't stand up. So I was like, okay, I'll pull the call switch and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at the clock because I didn't even have my Fitbit on that day because I was feeling terrible when I left home. So I watched the clock and it's like 5 minutes have gone by. I see people right outside my door. Nobody's coming. 10 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, forget this. Put my feet out there, ready to stand up. Then when that second alarm goes off, then they come because they know if I fall, it's probably gonna be like major liability on them, whatever. So dealing with that sort of stuff, and you know, they give you a towel, they give you a washcloth, and you have your bathroom and everything. Where's the soap? Is there a toothbrush or toothpaste? I realize that this is not a hotel, but some of us like to stay clean. And, so interesting experiences. And just based on that kind of stuff, I see myself being prepared for the future. Not that I want to go back to the hospital, but hospitals are kind of emergencies that come up that we don't really expect. And if you're a prepper, you are trying to be prepared for things that are unexpected. So in the future, I'll just carry like one of those little teeny sample bars of soap or whatever, like you get the ones that you get at a hotel, or if you're at the dollar store or whatever, you get a little sliver, but little cute little guest soaps or whatever. Or if you're making your own soap at home, which I can do some videos on that too. Leave a message in the comment section if you're interested in that sort of thing. So I'll probably carry something like that in the future. One of those cute little sample sizes of toothpastes, like a little travel toothpaste, a little travel toothbrush, or since I use like the electric toothbrush at home, I can carry one of the extra little just head tops of that in a nice little Ziploc baggie. So that way, if I end up in the hospital or somewhere, I can at least feel clean beyond the point of just water and soap that's coming out of the hand soap dispenser in the bathroom, and I can actually like brush my teeth because I like to at least feel a little fresh, you know. And while I was in there, one of the things that was challenging for me was that last year on my birthday, I took my dreadlocks out, which for anyone that has dreadlocks, it's a labor of love. It took me years to grow them. I had those locks for over 10 years. They were down my back. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's time to do something different. You get used to it while you have it. And it took me like 5 days to take it out because I did it on my cell phone, let everybody put their hands in my hair. I mean, I do still have some hairs back in a little ponytail. Little puffball or whatever. It's all mine, growing out my head. And I tried different stuff, and some days I look kind of half crazy, and other days whatever. But this is all me. Um, but taking that out, and then having to cut my hair because as you start taking it out, and the parts that were locked really good, they start breaking off sometimes, and so I had to cut all my hair, and so now I've got like this short, mature look. Well, being that I'm kind of mature, I guess that was nice. Make me look more workplace professional. But when I was in the hospital, my hair was all over my head, from everything that happened in the ambulance. And, by the time I got to day 2 in the hospital, and the respiratory therapist came in and she said, "Whoa, look at your hair." And I thought, oh, I wish I still had my locks. And I thought about it the whole weekend, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll go back to putting the locks back in. I was very comfortable with my locks, and my hair grew really fast. And even though my hair was way down my back, I was cutting about 1 inch or 2 inches every month because it grows so much faster when it's in locks. So, what do you think? Do you think I should consider putting my locks back in, or just keep the mature look since I'm pushing up there in years and getting close to that retirement age? Because I could still do both. I could still retire and have my locks and feel beautiful and be happy and free with my head. But anyway, another thing, while I was in the hospital, they don't really, they want to know what medication are you on, blah, 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 blah. They're asking like a zillion questions, and you're trying to answer every question and trying to hear everything that anybody is saying from whatever direction. If you have your information that's in an electronic form like MyChart or some online thing where your clinic and the hospital can share that information, it might make it easier in case you're, you know, get confused or caught up in the excitement of the moment. Because honestly, they asked me where I lived, and I was having trouble breathing. So I wasn't thinking about where I lived. I was thinking about, am I going to be able to suck some air in, let alone getting the air out of my body? I couldn't get any air in. I had a severe asthmatic attack. And so for a minute, I had to say, wait, I don't know. Let me think and think about where I lived. I looking at this message that I want to share with you all. I got my bag for today, you know, with my lunch and a book and my charger and all my stuff, because if anything like that happens again, God forbid, but if it does happen again, I want to have everything that I need. You know, I mean, in lunch, I carry to work with me anyway. My breath has been building back up, so I'm getting back up to full capacity of oxygen, which is good, very good thing for me. Um, Having, you know, my Bible and my other stuff, that's just important. Charger I always carry with me. Brought my lunch, made it last night. Have some ice packs. Zip that up in there. Multivitamins and all that jazz. Have that all together. Try to carry everything that I could need. But with the whole situation with the hair, I found that, you know, there's some things, like even if I were to not go back to doing the locks, you know, because I said, can't y'all give me a hair bonnet or something? You can't have me up here in the hospital looking crazy. And the nurse just laughed at me and left. And then the aide just laughed at me and left. And then the respiratory therapist just said, girl, you need to do something with your head. And she laughed and left. They were like, oh, you're fine. You're fine. Let me just take a couple pictures to share on TikTok or somewhere. No. But anyway, there are pieces of material. See how that's nice and colorful? I have a few of these. You can get these sometimes from a pharmacy, a fabric store, and you might find it sold like in a tube shape, and it fits like a gaiter. Or you could even go to a pharmacy and actually buy some of those neck gaiters that some people use during the virus, and you know, they'd have it on, like especially like FedEx and UPS drivers. That way they could pull it down in their truck, pull it up when they need to, when they're going into a building that says you must have a mask or whatever. Something like that can be put on, you know, if I have it in the bag, I can put it over my head, and when I need to, I can pull it over so that it fits kind of like a scarf or something, covers up my hair so I don't look so crazy. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'll just keep one of these handy from now on, because it was really kind of a handy thing to have. There, I have an email. I have a message from another prepper. So it says prepare for outages. There are going to be, apparently there are some scheduled power outages coming up in my area that might affect electricity or internet. Interesting. Didn't expect to see that. But if as I've said before, if you've been watching my videos for a while, then you know that there are there have been I've been getting emails from the power company where on Fridays they've been doing these energy action days, and they'll say today, or they'll send it on Thursday and say for Friday, we want you to not do any laundry or to not use your dishwasher. They're specifically targeting certain things. And then 2 days later, I get a follow up message of how not doing those things impacted the energy in the area in which I live. Nobody else that I know in my area has received those messages, or nobody's been talking about it. Who knows? Just might not be even paying attention to it. But, it also comes in with my bill, so I know it's not a scam, because scammers will send any and everything. But it's like they're programming something. They're preparing for something, and they'll just, you watch the news or whatever, and things will go along, blah, 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 blah. And then bam, they'll throw in there, have enough water stored up. There may be some power supply problems, so you may want to have some water stored up. And they'll just throw it in there once. You never hear anything else about it until something happens. Just like what happened in Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio. People heard about the derailment and all that, and all the trouble that caused and everything. But how many people recognize that there was actually a movie put out about that particular event in that particular area before it happened? There was a movie put out. That, to me, doesn't sound like a coincidence, but I don't know. Is it a coincidence to you? Check it out on your own. I'm just throwing that out there. Something's up. Before the train comes to your part of the tracks, there's usually a light that flashes. The bell rings, ding, 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 and the big arm comes down in front of you to stop you. So you get the warnings in advance of the train actually coming up to you. So, are you sitting there waiting on the train? Is the light flashing? Do you hear that bell ringing? Because by the time the arm is coming down, that's it. It's a deal, a done deal, that's it. Stuff is going on, and we just need to watch and truly prepare. And if you haven't started your gardening for the season, I know some people like to rely on what's in the stores, and the stores are sometimes reliable and sometimes not. So why not try growing a little something on the side for yourself? In a flower pot or a shoebox or, whatever. Grab you some seeds from the dollar store while they have them. Something that you can use to make tea or to grow some simple herbs or some lettuce or something. You can do that in an apartment or a condo. You can do that in a townhouse. You can do that. You can. And especially if you can get them for $1.25. I know people complain about Dollar Tree now being $1.25. That's still a good price. Grab you something while you can. Hardware stores have seeds and stuff too, but getting a pack of seeds from the hardware store now is like going out to eat at McDonald's, I think. The price has gone up. Learn how to, prepare your own hot beverages for the week, your own coffee, making your own ice pressed, or your own pressed coffee or your own cold brew or percolating. Times are hard. Money is harder at times, and we all have needs and resources. So just try to consider that. That's all I'm saying. And I've been yapping for too long. I'm gonna drink my coffee, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Thank you for joining me.